Guru The dissolution of duality is the ultimate gift of God to the humanity, to all of us. If we are able to, with the help of the scriptural knowledge and also with the help of the Mahavakyas, if we are able to pursue our spiritual practice and thereby reach a state where the duality is resolved, so that resolution of duality is the ultimate gift of God. Why it is the ultimate gift of God? Because it dissolves the very source and capacity for suffering. Once the duality is dissolved, it dissolves the very source of suffering, the capacity for suffering. Afterwards, suffering is no more there. There is no question of any kind of suffering. With the duality, the suffering is dissolved. In non-duality, no suffering is possible. In the true state of non-duality, or in the light of the understanding of the non-duality, suffering is not possible. Suffering is possible only to a limited entity, which is bound by so many things, and where there are so many differences in itself in comparison with others in various ways. The entity has to be limited and the entity must have so many differences in itself. In the state of non-duality, there is only pure Brahman, pure consciousness, which is unlimited, which is beyond time, beyond space, beyond objectivity, which has no differences. Sajatiya, Vijatiya, Swagata, Bheda, Rahita. No Bhedas, no differences at all. No parts. It is Nishkala. And whatever duality we see, it is only appearing in it. All because of the Ajnana and the Avidya. And of course, thereafter, the Adhyasa of so many things. So, if anyone gives us anything, if that can take us out of the suffering forever, what a great thing it is. But what happens in this world is, whatever anyone gives, even though initially it may give us a lot of pleasure and great joy and all that, but after some time, because of the changes in the circumstances, changes in our internal thinking patterns, changes in the value system, changes in so many opinions and attitudes, we will get into suffering. Same object, same person, we will get into suffering. But that is the nature of the world. That is how the world is. The duality here, the dual world is full of suffering. The suffering is there. We cannot avoid suffering. There is only one way where we can go beyond the suffering. That is the non-dual state of understanding. So it is said, on the level of non-duality, there is no observer, but there is only observing. There is observing, but there is no observer. There is no that individual observer. There is only observing. Because the consciousness is at all places, at the same time, and it is functioning everywhere. So there is no localization of it. So without an observer, the observing goes on. Because the subject and the object, from the normal standpoint, subject and object, both I and you become one self. One self experiencing all as divine. One self experiencing all as divine. So there is no question of one observer observing something. So you and I have become one. Subject and object have become one. So there is nothing else except that state of oneness where there is nothing else other than the non-duality. See, if this understanding is there in the mind, it is said by the great masters that in this state of reality, of non-duality, there is neither privilege nor gain, nor loss, nor rank. No question of any privilege. There is nothing, no special privilege attached to anything in the non-dualistic level. Where is the question of special privilege? Where is the question of rank? Where is the question of profit? Where is the question of gain or loss? Nothing is there. Because what is there to lose when there is nothing? What else we can gain when we are everything? When we are everything, is there anything that we are not? If there is nothing that we are not, what else can we gain? Where is the need to gain? And we are all full. When we are all full, where is the incompleteness to seek something? When we are completely full and we are aware that we are all full, where is the question of gaining? No need to gain anything. There is no interest in gaining. There is no desire to gain anything. Because whatever we will gain after gaining that gain is already gained. Nothing to lose also. There is nothing apart from us. If there is anything apart from us, we can lose. If we keep it at a separate place, we can lose. If somebody has cast the evil eye on it, we can lose. Because we did not keep it tight, we can lose. So there are various ways where we can lose things. Because they are other than us. They are placed at a separate place. So if there is nothing other than I, and I and you have become one, and that one has become non-dual, now where is the question of gaining anything, losing anything? A person who is really in the state of non-duality will not bother about any status, any rank, any privilege, any gain, any loss. Because these things do not touch the person. And actually the non-duality is untouched by these things. That is why even for a sadhaka, to have that thought of non-duality in the mind is very advantageous, very beneficial. It just goes on, it rises up or goes down. Like that, each spirit rises or falls in the sea of consciousness to its own level by virtue of its own choices, not by any external force or pressure or favor. By virtue of its own choices, it gets into a particular level. Because we make choices, and those choices lead us to a particular level in the evolution of consciousness. We are in a particular level only because of our choices. Nobody is showing favor, and nobody is actually pushing us to that level. No pressure. We will only attain that by our choices. That's why our choices have to be very clear and very intelligent. Some people choose light, some people choose darkness. In other words, some people choose praise, another people choose shreyas. What is immediately beneficial and later on painful and leading us into bondage, some people choose that. What is, even though initially tough, but later on very, very happy, very, very joyous, very blissful and long lasting, and it takes us to a higher level of consciousness, few people choose that. All this is summed up as some people choose light, some people choose darkness. By their own choices, they either get into light or get into darkness. Because the divinity gives total freedom. It is also called as by all things accrue of its own nature by virtue of divine freedom and equality. Everybody has divine freedom and equality. So because of the freedom that is given and equality that is there, we make choices, and depending upon the choices, we either go in the path of the light or path of darkness. In the state of non-duality, there is no suffering. But in the state of duality, which is the ego perceives everything. Ego has limited perception. Because of the limited perceptions of ego, it creates duality, and then there is suffering. The ego's perceptions are all leading us into suffering only. And how can we get out of that suffering? Only through the healing attitude of the divine self, where there is expression of compassion towards the ego, there is forgiveness of the divinity towards the ego, and because of that compassion and because of that forgiveness, the ego is excused. And also, if an individual has learned some spiritual knowledge, because of that, there is the understanding that one has to surrender. So when these three are combined, surrender also is combined with the compassion and forgiveness. So compassion, forgiveness and surrender. Even if we practice these things as ordinary jivas, we will really advance into very high levels. If we have a lot of compassion, overlooking small shortcomings and mistakes and forgiving, and along with it, if there is surrender and defeat of the God, then certainly we will advance into higher levels. And it is also said, surrender, the state of surrender, actually happens only by the grace of God. But we need to begin, we need to start, we need to commence the spiritual practice. Therefore, by His grace, things will start happening. Now coming into the text, during the time of the transactions, Vyavahara, Chaitanya is along with Ajnana. Upadhi is there for the consciousness, that is how these transactions are happening. An example is given by Ramaraya here, that a king has many kingly duties. He has to rule people, govern them, and then undertake a lot of development activities, and sometimes when somebody is doing mistakes, punish them. So all activities are not done by king. There are various people, many ministers are there, who take care of each individual respective departments, and they all do their duties, they all do their service. And even though when so many people are there, ministers are there, in charge persons are there, they are all doing, but actually They are all doing in the name of the king. In the name of the king only they are doing. So, from the viewpoint of all transactions, Sarva Vyavahara Drishti, if that is the viewpoint, then Ishvara, he is the witness. He is just witnessing, like the king who is a witness of all the activities done under his name. He just grants permission, because many people have to take up his work. He alone can't run around everywhere and take care of every department. So he permits them in the name of the king, they will all do the job. Like that, in view of all transactions, who is the one who is the witness to it? Ishvara is the witness to it. But Chaitanya is the witness to it. So witness is Prerakeshvara. He is the witness also, Ishvara, and Prerakeshvara. Meaning Prerakeshvara means the one who impels, the one who stimulates. Impelling, stimulating, directing, inciting, instigating presence. So because of the presence of Ishvara, many things get inspired and then start becoming active. They are stimulated. So in truth, it is said that Chaitanya or consciousness is the Preraka Padartha. It is Preraka Padartha, impelling, stimulating, urging matter. It impels, it stimulates, it incites, it instigates, it directs. So, that is what does Chaitanya along with Maya. So, which was incited, stimulated by itself. Maya is again stimulated by Chaitanya. And then Chaitanya along with the Maya, they undertake a lot of activities there afterwards. And they create beings, and then they create gross bodies and subtle bodies, and then they inject beings into those things, and so many things happen there afterwards. So, even when they do all these things, the Chaitanya again resides in an individual in the heart region. That is why it is said, and Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara, all Trimurtis in the form of Ishvara reside in our heart and give all Prerana. And incite us, impel us, instigate us, stimulate us. So that inner stimulators are called as Brahma, Vishnu and Maheshwara, but in the form of Ishvara. Ishvara alone has become all three, so they are there in all of us. So, reflection of consciousness along with Ajnana, in which there are these three gunas existing, because three gunas, Sattva guna, Rajo guna, Tamo guna, belong to Ajnana only. They are existing. And into that there is an entry of the effect called as internal organ. So the internal organ is there, that also is there, created by Maya only. And internal organ also has got trigunas, because Maya has got trigunas, and internal organ or manas or antakarana is the byproduct of Maya. And because of this gunatraya that is there, and then the Chidabhasa is reflected in the internal organ. Then what happens when the Chaitanya is reflected in the internal organ and that becomes Chidabhasa? Gunatraya Pratibimba Chaitanya. So, it is called as Gunatraya Pratibimba Chaitanya. And then one Mahatma says, this Gunatraya Pratibimba Chaitanya which is there, this Gunatraya Pratibimba Chaitanya is Brahma, Vishnu and Rudra. Consciousness reflected in Trigunas is Brahma, Vishnu and Rudra. Depending upon the permutation and combination of each guna, whether Sattva Guna Pradhana Vishnu or Rajo Guna Pradhana Brahma or Tamo Guna Pradhana Ishvara. But these gunas do not bind them, but they only are like upadhis. Through those upadhis they manifest their various expressions. And it is said that witness alone inspires people, stimulates everything. Actually even Jiva is inspired by, stimulated by witness only in many ways. Through its upadhi of trigunas. So Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva are also stimulated by the witness alone. It is again reconfirmed there. The Trimurtis are controlled by witness. They are dependent on witness. Hence, the Sarva Anusandhanam, meaning the combiner, the joiner, the Sandhikarta, is the Atma, is the Ishvara, and Sarvanugati, meaning accompanying everything, going along with everything, is again the Ishvara. Sarva Anusandhana, Sarva Anusandhata and Sarva Anugati. Both are Ishvara only, and that Ishvara alone is the witness. Other than this, rest all we can consider as other beings and sometimes as jivas, and only Kutastha is real. All other jivas are due to delusion. So that is why it is said, same Ishvara is Pratyagatma, and that Pratyagatma alone is reality. And if we see any Chidavasa and then reflected in Antakarana because of Ajnana, Avidya and so on and so forth, all those are unreal. What is real here is only the Chaitanya. That one Chaitanya present in the hearts of all. He is present in the hearts of all. In truth, that one Chaitanya is present in the hearts of all is Nirdharmaka, Paramananda, Bodha, Rupam, and that is Nirdharmaka. There are no properties at all. And it is highest state of Ananda and as well as consciousness. That type of Chaitanyam, that is the meaning of Tattvamasi Manavakya. When we say, when we attain that, Tattvamasi, that when we attain, that is beyond all properties, beyond all qualities, beyond all characteristics, and highest state of conscious Ananda. That is how we go and reach there. And thereafterwards, we come to Sidhantha Bindu, where Madhusudana Saraswati says, Avidya Tad Vyapta Tad Karyatmakaha Prapanchaha Drushya Padartha. Nescience, all that is dependent on it and all its effects. Nescience, that is ignorance, all that is dependent on it, all its effects constitute the universe. Ignorance, all that is dependent on it, and all its effects constitute the universe, which is controlled or which is connoted by the word seen. All this is called as seen. Drushya. Drushya Padartha. What is the Drushya Padartha? Ignorance, all its effects, and that which is dependent on it. And then he says, Tasya cha Aparamadhikatve Abhivyavarika Satta Abhyupagama. Though it is not real from the absolute standpoint, it is accepted to have empirical reality. Nescience, the things that depend upon nescience, and the effects of nescience. Though from the highest standpoint it is not accepted, it is not real, but still from the empirical standpoint this is accepted. So, examination of the universe is not futile like the examination of dream objects. Universe is not like dream objects, because universe we can experience this at transactional level. Universe serves some purpose, and the purpose is moving closer to the pure state of consciousness. And then it is said here, what is the purpose? Again it is said, Upasanadau Tat Upayoga iti. It is useful for the purpose of worship. We can worship, and by the process of worship we can get grace, we can get blessings, and we can get that energy from the Upasa Devata, whomsoever we worship, and individually we can't uplift ourselves. Because of this inflow of that divine energy, divine grace and divine blessings, we will become empowered, energized, divinized, and then we will be able to attain higher levels. And we will be able to do the deeper sadhanas. And it is said, the universe is threefold. One is unmanifest, second one is gross, third one is subtle. So unmanifest is called as nescience with the reflection of conscious in it. That is what we have seen. Which is the power that is the seed of the universe of gross and subtle object. The causal state is the seed for the subtle state and then the gross state. And then again it is said in Sidhantha Bindu, the unmanifest has got four constituents. One is nescience, another one is its connection with pure consciousness, third one is the distinction as Ishvara and Jiva, fourth one is the reflection of consciousness in nescience known as Chidabhasa. All these four are connected with the unmanifest. The unmanifest has four constituents. Avyakta has got four constituents. One is ignorance, nescience. Another one is its connection with pure consciousness. Third one is distinction as Ishvara and Jiva. And fourth one is the reflection of consciousness in nescience known as Chidabhasa. So the Chidabhasa is not the same as consciousness. It is not the same as consciousness, but at the same time, nor it is insentient. Chidabhasa is not inert or insentient. So it is different from the sentient as well as the non-sentient. So that is why it gets a special status, and because of that it starts moving the internal organ or activating the internal organ. So the ignorance plus the touch of consciousness by its reflection generates so many elements, 5 subtle elements. We know that. The earth, the water, fire, air, ether, and then the following Tanmatara, Shabda, Sparsa, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, and there are words. From nescience arises darkness, and it is of the nature of a covering, and this darkness is opposed to visual knowledge, and this darkness which is opposed to visual knowledge is opposed by light, and it is destroyed by light, and this darkness appears and disappears like the lightning, and this darkness covers everything. We see the darkness. This darkness also covers everything. And it is said that the darkness is removed by light. And thereafterwards, there is an explanation of the process of Panchikaranam. We are not dealing with that process of Panchikaranam because we have a separate subject. We have dealt with it very elaborately. And Panchikaranam of Adi Shankara, very elaborately, titled as the Art of Healing. Those are the talks titled as the Art of Healing, Panchikaranam. So already it is very elaborately dealt. If anybody is interested, they may ask at the counter for the Art of Healing talk, so that has got very detailed dealing of it. There is no need for that repetition again here. That's why we are going through that. So Panchikarana is explained later on. And then again Sattva, Rajas, Tamo Gunas. About that it is said, when Sattva is predominant, generally Sattva is predominant in the body of gods, Rajas is predominant in the body of human beings, Tamas is predominant in the body of animals and other creatures, trees and plants. So, like that also is explained. And afterwards 7 worlds above and earth, and then 6 worlds below. So 7 below, 7 above, like that. And thereafterwards the sequence, how the gross merges in subtle, subtle merges in unmanifest, and unmanifest being beginningless has no cause, and so it has no merger. So merging of the unmanifest means remaining in its own cause in a subtle form. Merging means remaining in its own cause in a subtle form. So like that. And then it is also said that space is directly perceived by witness consciousness, and knowledge of the space is not due to mental modification, because mental modification arises only when sense organs function, like so on and so forth. The process of creation and various other things, how they are manifested, all that is taken. Once it so happened that a teacher asked the student, it was a math class, and she wanted to test the knowledge level of the student. So the teacher asked her, suppose you have 7 friends, and then you got some money. Suppose you have 10,000 rupees and you have 7 friends. Suppose you give 1,000 each to 3 friends. What remains? If you give 1,000 each to 3 friends, what remains? The boy said, 3 friends remain. That is all. He doesn't say how much amount remains out of 10,000. He says 3 friends remain. 4 will go away. His idea is clear. In the world of duality, if anybody remains, there has to be some expectation of gain, expectation of benefit, expectation of favor, expectation of some result, something which will be there. The only beings who are in the state of non-duality, they function without all these things. Two friends went to take bath in a lake. So they took out their clothes and then they got into the lake. After they got into the lake, they saw the huge signboard, beware of bears. Bears. They may attack any time. Suddenly one fellow immediately got out of it. Instead of wearing the clothes, he started wearing the shoes and started wearing the shoes and wanted to get ready and wanted to run. Started wearing the shoes and ready to run. The other fellow said, you know now, you cannot outrun a bear. You cannot outrun a bear. Why are you wearing the shoes? And that man said, if I can outrun you, that is enough. Because if both people start running, if we can outrun that fellow, where will catch this one? Even though they together went and they together got into the lake, the moment there is an impending danger, this fellow runs away. The idea is that he wants to outrun that person. That is enough. I know that I can't outrun that person. If I outrun you, that is enough. So in the world of duality, in the relationships, there is first selfishness and next only anything else. Only those who have understood the state of non-duality or at least the scriptural knowledge and understood that God alone is there in all of us, their level of love will be totally different. So, in the light of non-duality, the value system will undergo a lot of change. I have heard that there was a contractor's bid which was kept open by the government and one official was appointed. So the contractors can bid for undertaking certain work. So one contractor from New Delhi gave his bid. In that it is written 1 lakh rupees. And he had to explain why. Said 40,000 for material, 40,000 for labor, 20,000 profit. That also you have to mention in the bid. 40, 40, 20. And then another bid came from Bangalore. It was 80,000, 20,000 less. The official asked, how? Explain. Said 30,000 for labor, 30,000 for material, 20,000 profit. Other fellow 40, 40, 20. He also 20 but 30. And then came one bid from Hyderabad. That bid straight away 10 lakhs 80,000. Huh? The official was shocked. 10 lakhs 80,000? For what? 5 lakhs to you, 5 lakhs to me, 80,000 for her. He got the bid. That is how it is. In the world of duality, utter selfishness will prevail in whatever it is. Are we not seeing this news? This is what is happening everywhere. How many we will see? How many we will read? We are fed up only by reading and seeing only. Every now and then this one. Every department something will come out like this. Everything leads to nowadays no question of thousands, all crores only. All crores. छोटे छोटे सब लोग क्या छोटे मारा तो बड़ा मिला तो मिला गया तो गया. That is what it is. So it is said by the spiritual masters, if we have the state of non-dual understanding, we did not reach there. We did not get established in it. At least we have the understanding of non-duality. Then at least we will know that the other fellow is not different from us. Government is not different from us. Society is not different from us. Community is not different from us. You and the other fellow is one and the same. If I create laws for other, ultimately ultimately it lasts for whole society, whole nation, whole community. Some people have a very wrong notion. Hey, क्यों गवर्नमेंट को देना भाई? तुमको क्या आता, आपको क्या आता? आपस में अंडरस्टैंडिंग उसको. This is what is happening with the government. Again, it is for us only. Ultimately, it is only our nation, our society, our country. But hardly people have this understanding. That is why it is said the scriptural understanding of non-duality will help at least to realize and understand the oneness. Not that everything can be allowed to happen, whatever mistake they do, all those things can be allowed to happen. But that understanding is enough to bring people together that this intellect is Maya, mind is Maya, with my reaction towards you is Maya, my suspicion towards you is Maya, my hatred towards you is Maya, my ill will towards you is Maya. This way if we start thinking, it will bring people together, people close. But sometimes what happens is people who follow Advaita only hate more. And one person told me, and he said, see, Advaita means, you know what? I said, what? I only should be there. Nobody else should be there. This is Advaita, according to him. Only I should be there. Anybody other than I, let them go. But of course, that is not what is Advaita. We have understood non-duality. Everything passes into one pure consciousness. That pure consciousness alone is seen as everything and everything. Then, taking us further into the analysis, it is said, dream state is that in which sense organs do not function and dream objects are experienced due to vasanas in the mind. This is very clear. Dream objects are experienced because of vasanas in the mind. And here, 2 points are raised. One view is, mind itself appears in the form of elephants, horses, etc., seen in a dream. Why will I see elephant? I will see something. Whatever you see is an example. Mind itself appears in the form of all things, and that these are known by modifications or vritti of avidya, not antakarana, vritti of avidya. And then second view is, it is avidya itself that becomes transformed in the form of objects seen in the dream, as in the case of appearance of naked silver, the pearl shell and the silveriness, and that they are also known by modification of avidya. And then the author suggests here, Madhusudana Saraswati, second view may be better. So avidya alone becomes dream and dream objects. And due to avidya vrittis only, it is known. Like naked silver. So that is how the second view is said. And then again it is said, dream objects are merely imagined by the mind with the help of avidya, and that they are not transformation of anything else. That is one view. Second view, avidya takes the form of dream objects with consciousness as a substratum, and thereafterwards all this play goes on. So whatever it is, finally it comes down to the play of avidya only. If we understand that the dream is taken care, or dream is all a play of avidya, according to the first view, it is like rabbit's horn, which is non-existent. According to the second view, it is illusory, pratibhasika. So some people state the example of rope and snake or nacre and silver, like that. Now finally concluding here, it is said, whatever we come across, whatever is there in this whole creation, that is placed under these few categories. One is paramarthika. Paramarthika means absolutely real. Second one is Vyavaharika, meaning empirically real, worldly real, transactionally real. So, third one is Pratibhasika, it is illusory, Pratibhasika. Fourth one is Tuchha, meaning non-existent. And all these are different plays of Maya, taking the help and support of pure consciousness. So Atma alone illumines the objects in dream. Atma alone illumines the objects in waking state. Atma alone illumines that deep sleep state. So, Jiva can become a knower only when there are ruttis in the mind. In the dream, Jiva is not a knower. Dream objects are illumined only by witness. So, this witness consciousness is limited by avidya, and the Jiva consciousness is limited by the mind. That is how they explain about the dream. And then it is said, some say that the Jiva who is consciousness limited by the mind, Mano Avachinna Jiva Chaitanya. Others hold that it is Brahman limited by primal ignorance, Mula Ajnana Avachinna Brahma Chaitanya. And the author says both views are correct depending upon different points of view. In the waking state, the Upadhi of Jiva is mind plus vasanas with vrittis. In the waking state, mind is there, vasanas are there, vrittis are there. In dream state, Upadhi is mind only with vasanas but without vrittis, without antakarana vrittis. And then in deep sleep state, mind remaining merely in the form of vasana, that itself is the Upadhi. So all these are witnessed only by the pure consciousness. Even though these different appearances are there, all is witnessed only by pure consciousness. And there is another thing which is said, Brahman consciousness limited by the mind is a substratum of the dream. So here model ignorance are there are different views because it is mentioned in the analysis I just cited. Then deep sleep is the state in which there is awareness of the ignorance. The witness, the happiness, the model ignorance pertaining to deep sleep are all accepted as present. Then again there is an analysis of vritti, how the vritti takes place. Knowledge is always produced by vritti, and knowledge that is in the form of a vritti of mind, and that alone removes the ignorance. If it is a wrong knowledge, it is the vritti of avidya. If it is a transactionally right knowledge, it is a vritti of antakarana. Illusory knowledge is never a vritti of the mind, but it is a vritti of avidya. Doubt also is a vritti of avidya, recollection also is a vritti of avidya. So after all this reasoning, then they said, the most important thing here is taking the help of vritti and then listening to the knowledge, then contemplating upon it, reflecting upon it, then contemplating upon it, so that with the help of that vritti, we will attain the higher state. How it is, that is explained here. Shravanam nama Shadvida lingaihi Asesha Vedantanam Advidiya Vastuni Taparya Avadharanam. What is hearing? What is called as Shravana? What is called as hearing? Hearing is the ascertainment through the 6 characteristic signs that the entire Vedanta philosophy establishes the one Brahman without a second. What are the 6 signs? The beginning, the conclusion, the repetition, the originality, the result, the duology and demonstration. So, whatever the Vedanta establishes, what it establishes? The one supreme Brahman without a second. Listening to that, so that the understanding is clear. Then the next one, Mananam. Mananam tu Shrutasya Advidiya Vastuno Vedanta Anuguna Yuktivihi Anavaratam Anuchintanam. Reflection is constant thinking of Brahman, the one without a second. Constant thinking of Brahman, already heard from the teacher. Whatever we have heard from the teacher, if we are able to constantly think of that one Brahman without a second, by arguments agreeable to the purport of Vedanta. So if we have certain analytical arguments which are conducive to the Vedanta, not opposing the Vedanta, so based on those things, if we are able to reflect, if we are able to constantly think of Brahman, that is called as reflection. And then it is said about the contemplation, which finally leads into meditation. Vijaniya Dehadi Pratyaya Rahita Advidiya Vastu Sajatiya Pratyaya Pravaho Nididhyasanam. Contemplation is a stream of ideas of the same kind as those of Brahman. Stream of ideas, one after another. Same kind of ideas as those of Brahman, the one without a second, to the exclusion of such foreign ideas as those of body. When the stream of ideas which are of Brahman are continuously flowing, and no other ideas are interfering there, the ideas of body, mind, intellect, memory, ego, contents, experiences, various other things, and continuous stream of ideas connected with Brahman are flowing, that is called as contemplation. What a great state it is. Continuously only those things are flowing. No other thought, no other idea, no other thing enters or interferes. As long as one wants, one remains there continuously. Now, also we are experts. We are also in that state, contemplating upon the world. Just let us look into our mind. Constantly goes on thinking. Is it not thinking? It's going on. It is doing its job. Thinking. It is doing contemplation. But what is happening there? It is not avoiding vijayati vrittis, only sajayati vrittis. Actually, in the real contemplation, only sajayati vrittis are. We are all vijayati vrittis. All other vrittis only are. All the thoughts of Anatma are there. But in contemplation, all thoughts will be of Atman, that is Brahman. But normally what we are doing, we are always thinking about Anatma. So, that is clearly told. Through Shravana, through Manana, through Nididhyasana, automatically will get into a state of Dhyana, where just the object of contemplation and I only remain. Then later on in the Dhyana, meditator merges into the meditated, and then the Dhyana leads us into Samadhi, and then finally into ultimate Nirvikalpa Samadhi. That itself is called as Moksha. So, that Vritti can do so much for us if we take it in the proper channel. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana. So, once we do this Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, it is said, avidya is gone. Once avidya is gone, then avidya plus Chaitanya relationship is gone. Please see the very potential statement. Avidya is gone. Avidya is gone means avidya plus Chaitanya sambandha also is gone. Then what happens? Then there is no object to get related. There is no object to get related. Avidya plus Chaitanya relationship gone. Meaning no objects to get related. When there are no objects to get related, the Ishvara Jiva division vanishes. Where is the division? There is no other thing to get related for the consciousness. Ishvara Jiva division vanishes. Then there is no Jiva Bhranti. No Jiva Bhranti, delusion for the Jiva. Then there is no Chidavasa. Chidavasa also vanishes. When the mirror is gone, reflection also is gone. Then what is there? Only pure consciousness is there. Only pure consciousness. All that we need to do is, with the help of Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana, contemplate, meditate, listen properly, reflect upon it very properly, then contemplate and then meditate, and continuously do it. Then what happens is, we will get into a state where avidya goes, avidya plus Chaitanya sambandha goes. When that goes, there is no relationship. That is why there is no relationship at all. Only avidya establishes the relationship of all these things. All miseries go, all sufferings go, even birth disappears, death disappears, everything disappears. No suffering at all. So that is why it is said we need to understand about this avidya. That avidya is the upadhi of Ishvara. This avidya is again made alive only by the touch of the Chidabhasa. So that is why it is said, once the face is there, the reflection of a face is there in the mirror. The reflection of the face is different from this face, but also is not different from this face. Very clear. If you see your face in a mirror, the reflection in the mirror is different from the original face, but it is not different from the face. Because it is the face. It is like face only. Same face only is getting reflected. So it is different also, not different also. So that is why it is said Chidabhasa is different from Chitta and at the same time not different from Chitta. That is why Chidabhasa has got a special status. Different from Chitta, not different from Chitta. So that Chidabhasa activates the Jadam and then they create the things. That is why the Chidabhasa gains the knowledge that I am connected with the Chaitanya. And then all this dual relationship will disappear. And along with it, the kleshas that are there, whatever kleshas which always give misery, all those kleshas also disappear. Gnatva devam sarva the Atma, the Brahman, through this process, whatever we have seen this process. Once we come to know about it, once we understand it, once we come to know about the non-dual state of Brahman, Sarva Pasha Vahani, all pashas are gone. All bondages are destroyed. All bondages disappear. All bondages are gone. Kshinai kleshai janma mrityu prahani. All kleshas, they are also destroyed. And janma mrityu also vanishes. There is no janma, there is no birth and death also. The kleshas are the cause of samsara. They get destroyed the moment one gets the self-realization. Thereafter the samsara, which is of the form of birth and death, also vanishes. Hence, Atma Jnana, Itye Vaisha Vaidiki Vapraditi. Only that Atma Jnana alone gives us liberation. And then brief explanation is that all this is from the Sarva Vedanta, Sidhantha, Sarasangraha, Adi Shankara. But each text, sometimes the Kleshas interpretation might be different from the other interpretation. So we will take up whatever is here. Avidya, according to Sarva Vedanta, Sidhantha, Sarasangraha. In the ephemeral, in the impure, in the miserable, body, mind, senses, etc., having the thought that they are eternal, pure and joyous. That is called as avidya. In that which is ephemeral, impure, miserable, having the thought that it is eternal, pure and bestowers of happiness or joy. That is called as avidya. Next, asmita, panchakleshas. To think Drik and Drishya, Atma and Anatma as one form. Seer is separate, seen is separate. Atma is separate, Anatma is separate. But to think both are one. To see them as one form. There arises the big problem. And then Raga. At the time of sensory experience, to think that this pleasure is very good, and I want this pleasure to continue, and I want this pleasure to repeat, and I want this pleasure to be available to me always. This is Raga. And then Dvesha. Here the Dvesha's interpretation is different. When Dukkha arises, the thought that I can't bear this Dukkha, I can't understand this Dukkha, I can't experience this Dukkha. And because of the self-condemnation, why this Dukkha has happened to be self-condemnation? And then getting into disgust, despair, despondency, depression, and loathing others. This state is here is called, that is all loathing others, hating others. That is called as dvesha. Because of dukkha, because of inability to undergo the dukkha. Thought repeatedly happening that I can't face it, I can't understand why this is happening to me. And then get into disgust, despair, despondency, depression, and loathing, self-condemnation. That is called as dvesha. And then abhinivesha. This is due to purvajanma samskaras. Even though the individual is going in the nivritti marga, a pravritti happens. So pravritti and nivritti happen because of purva samskaras, purva vasanas. And then also there is a sort of fear of becoming extinct. Death, that also is included here. So all these are kleshas, meaning they give us a lot of pain and suffering. When we think the temporary thing is permanent, we suffer. How many times our experiences tell us that they are temporary, and then again we suffer. And then if we think that seer and seen are one, then we don't recognize the seer, we always think that is seen, then we get identified with it, then again we have pain and suffering. Then if we have this egoism, asmita is also called as egoism, we have pain and suffering. Raga is an attachment, then we want pleasure to repeat, continuously extend the pleasure, and then we want it available always, because again creates pain and suffering. Then again dvesha, of course, all this depression, pain and suffering. Then abhinivesha, fear of death, and as well as if you are going in one way, suddenly thought takes in another way. Distraction, obstruction, that also is pain and suffering. So all these are pain and suffering. So how will they go away? Simple. One thing we have to know about God. We have to realize the God. We have to gain the knowledge of the God. That much only is required. If we gain the knowledge of the God, then because of the attainment of the knowledge of the God, all the kleshas will go away. Avidya also, asmita also, raga also, dvesha also, abhinivesha also. Not only that, the janma, marana also go away. There will be no more birth, no more death. All kleshas will vanish. All pashas will vanish. All bondages will vanish. And one will become the pure consciousness. One will attain the pure state of consciousness by the knowledge. And how it is attained through vritti. What vritti? Shastra Jnana vritti. Then Mahavakya vritti. Then we have to do Shravana, Manana, Nithyasana. All this is only to teach us that yes, if we listen, if we reflect, if we contemplate, then get into meditation, then certainly we will attain this state, which is clearly mentioned here. But what is preventing us from attaining that state? Ignorance. And that is why we have to gain knowledge. So there afterwards, it is said that Andhakara or Tamas is called as darkness. That also comes out of Avidya. It is a Bhava Padartha. It engulfs everything. Darkness engulfs everything. It kills the light at the night time. It is not stable. It comes and goes like a flash. Each second at night it takes birth. So, it is not required for constructing samsara. Darkness is not a bhutam, one of the elements, and it is not listed along with Panchabhutas. Panchabhutas, meaning bodies are made up of, created due to them. But darkness, out of darkness, no bhutas are. But darkness we experience. So what is this darkness? Who creates this darkness? From where the darkness comes? How the darkness remains like this? That is why the master says darkness is again from avidya only. Avidya only creates this darkness. Otherwise, why dark, everything dark at night time? From where the darkness again? It engulfs everything. Half of the world is engulfed at night time. Because we know the globe and sun is there, half day, half night, whatever it is. It engulfs everything darkness. So, that also, darkness, outside it is like that, inside also it engulfs in the form of ignorance. So, that way also. So, and again it is further said, there are other things also which engulf us. Directions, time. Time also limits us. There are directions. 10 directions are there. Not only north, west, east, south, but there are so many north, east, north, west, and above, below. All these become 10. So the directions and time are also imaginations for transactions. They are imaginations for transactions. And then again it is said, Akasham has Shabda Gunam and of nature of emptiness. The Akasham which has Shabda Gunam and nature of emptiness is divided into 10 directions for our transactional purpose. So Avidya, Kalanatmaka Shakti is Kalam. Avidya itself is time. There is no time for Brahman. In Brahman there is no time. Time is therefore the Jagat superimposed in Brahman. That is where the time is required. So time also is a product of Avidya. That is why the one who transcends Avidya goes beyond the time, goes beyond all limitations. Just as colored threads combine and become and create a cloth, the sattva amshas in all bhutas combine into a pure liquid, and that is of the nature of Jnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti. So we have to awaken that Jnana Shakti and Kriya Shakti. And of course we have to also use the Ichha Shakti in combination with it. So all these are there well within us. We have to activate them, and so that we can start using them. And then thereafterwards, again, so many things are mentioned about Annamaya Kosha, which is connected with the gross body and Stula Deha, Anandamaya Kosha, which is connected with the causal body and Karana Deha, then Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya Kosha, which is connected with the subtle body and Sukshma, Linga Deha. So in Antakarna, there is Jnana Pradhanya, in Prana, there is Raja Pradhanya. So that is why Prana also is an instrument along with the Antakarna for our various experiences. And thereafter, this Kosha's explanation is also there. Of course, this is also, we have dealt elaborately even in our Vivek Chudamani and other things. Then, thereafter, the explanation that Ajnana related to Ishvara has vritti, Ajnana related to Ishvara, Antakarna etc. are created by Ajnana, hence Ajnana has vrittis. So, vritti is possible for Ajnana. In Sushupti, the Jiva Ajnana has the vritti. That is is what is explained there. And there afterwards, certain technical explanations are there that vritti does not arise in internal organ without the help of indriyas. Antakarana modifying into the form of object alone is vritti. Atma becomes pramada due to antakarana vritti and not due to avidya vritti. When pramatma is there, atma cannot be Swayam Jyoti. Paramatma means one who has need for pramana, but Swayam Jyoti is beyond this pramata and beyond all other limited things. That Swayam Jyoti is our true nature. So we need to understand about the self-luminous principle, and in comparison with the dependent reality, which need luminosity from other sources like mind also, like intellect also, like memory also, like ego also, they all need to be illumined, but our self is self-luminous. And that which is self-luminous doesn't depend upon all these things. That which are not self-luminous, which they are dependent upon others, they are unreal, and what is self-luminous only is real. And various other descriptions are there. Then it is said, Adhyasa happens on covered adhisthana. Ajnana is superimposed on Chaitanya, and Chaitanya is joined with Ajnana. So then the pearl shell has been superimposed. Like that, the pearl shell example also is being given here. So the basic idea is, all this is said only to tell us one thing, that is the importance of Jnana Akara Vritti. Again and again. To all other vrittis, whether they are avidya vrittis, whether they are antakarana vrittis which are connected with the world, or whether they are connected with various other objects, all of them are not going to really give us greater benefit. The actual benefit comes to us only from the Mahavakya Vritti or Jnanakara Vritti. So, whenever we have that time, what we have to do is, we need to cultivate the practice of listening to the Shastra and then take up the text, whatever we have listened and whatever we have noted down, again go through that and keep it in mind for a certain period of time. When we keep it in our mind for a certain period of time, slowly, this tendency becomes more activated, and then the other thoughts which are there, they will be sidelined. After that, we get the strength to make the mind focused on contemplating things continuously. And then with that contemplation, we may definitely enter into the meditative state, where we start experiencing the peace, where we start experiencing the inner joy, where we start experiencing the quietude, where we start feeling that remaining in oneself is of contentment, is of peace, is of blissfulness, and this blissfulness, this peace and this contentment is not available outside, and then our interactions will not give us that experience. So we want to go away from interactions and then be with ourselves. So this type of experience will start coming to us. Then the individual automatically will start spending more time in contemplation, more time in meditation. Then by the grace of the God, it will dawn. And afterwards we go beyond all the kleshas and then we get into the higher state. Okay. Om Vagishwaraya Vidmahe. Om Vagishwaraya Vidmahe. Hayagrivaye Dhimahi. Hayagrivaye Dhimahi. Tanno Hayagriva Prachodayat. Tanno Hayagriva Prachodayat. Om Akshareshwaraya Vidmahe. Om Akshareshwaraya Vidmahe. Mantra Rajaya Dhimahi. Mantra Tanno Hayagriva Hayagriva Mangalam